Alright, the last video we showed you how to create a document. In this video I want to show you how to create a folder and also be able to share the contents of that folder. So basically what happens is you'll be able to create a folder, and anything you put into that folder will be able to be accessed by people who it is shared with. So if you have a team, say a fourth grade team, and you want a place where you can post documents or post worksheets or whatever you're working on and have multiple people access that, you can do that through Google Drive. So what we're going to do is we're going to start up here where we go to create folder. We're going to give the folder a name. So let's call it fourth grade team. Whoops. Hit create. And our document posts over here. It also posts in our main screen. This little arrow next to the document will allow you to do a couple things. If you're like me and very organized, I like to color code things. So you can go in here and give it a specific color. And then you have your document, your folder created. When you click on that folder, you notice that it's blank. There's nothing in it. So when you select this folder, you have this, go over to this little arrow again, and now you can share this folder. Okay? So when you come over here, it gives you the option to share this folder. So just like a document, it gives you access. So it's private by default, but you can change that if you want to open it up to anyone on the web. So say, for example, maybe you're someone who wants to share documents with just your staff, all of the middle school staff. This might be something where you want to share this folder with all of Groton-Dunstable Regional, or maybe just your staff, where you would share it with just your staff. The staff could view it only, because then if you gave them editing rights, they'd be able to delete what was in the folder. Give them view-only files where they could be able to access those documents and bring them into their Google Drive. And then when you hit save, you could grab this link up here where it's highlighted, copy it, and email that to your staff, and they would all have access to that folder. The other way of doing it is, say you want to just keep it private, you're working with the fourth grade team only, so you'd want to give those in your team access. So say, for example, my fourth grade team, even though this is the tech team, I would want to give Audra access, I would want to give Julie access, oops, I would want to give Gary access, and so on and so forth. Okay? So once I give them access to this folder, I'm going to share and save it. And now those contributors are on they'll have access to whatever goes in that folder. So notice also a little person's head. I'll make the color lighter so you can see it. A little person's head jumps on there. Okay, a little icon, different from the rest of the folders. That means that's a shared folder. That's a great way of indicating to, whatever you put in that folder is going to be distributed to the rest of those people you shared it with. So if I go back to my drive and I want to go into, let's say I want to go into my recent documents, I'm going to take my how to use Google Drive, and there's two ways of moving documents into folders. One is simply holding it down where you see how it's kind of yellow there, and I can drag it over into that document. Okay, notice that it gets the label automatically fourth grade team. The other way of doing it is that if I check this box, or I check multiple boxes, I can move several of them at once by selecting my Move To folder and then moving that to fourth grade team. And then I'll move those over and notice that they get the label fourth grade team. If I go into my fourth grade team folder, all those documents are there, and all those documents will be able to be accessed by Gary, Julie, and Audra, and whomever else I share this folder with. So this is a great example of how to not only share with one of your teams as faculty, but with your students. So you could have a folder that's shared with all the important documents you want to share with your students, and only the students in that class would have access to it. If you would want your students to have a folder just with you, what you can do, and what I've done in my classes, is I've had students share folders with me on the first day of class. So what students would do is students would go into their Google Drive and they would go to create folder. They would make their folder their name. They would create it, and then I would go over to my folder as a student and share. And so say my teacher was, who am I going to pick? Say Audra was my teacher. I would share and save that. And anytime I, as Audra's student, put a document into this folder, I could get it. So if I'm working on a paper, if I have homework that I need to put, it's basically a digital Dropbox where students can push stuff directly to their teachers without ever having to transfer any paper. So this is a couple ways in which you can use Google folders and Google shared folders, which can really kind of help you guys collaborate and connect with a lot of the things you do, not only with your students, but with